This is the Hannibal podcast on TV Podcast Industries, Season 3, Episode 4, Aperitivo. Ciao, welcome back, Fannibals. This is Hannibal on TV Podcast Industries, the podcast about the hit TV show Hannibal. I'm one of your hosts, Irene.
Hi, and I'm one of your other hosts, John.
And we're your fine young Hannibals. We're here to delve from the tableau to the table and everything in between for Season 3 of Hannibal, the incredibly tasty TV series. This week we'll look at Episode 4, entitled Aperitivo.
Remember, this is a mature podcast, everyone, so there is more than likely going to be swearing. There'll be discussions about murders and gore, other horror topics, and obviously a lot of potential screams running from the front room, the TV room, screaming as some horrendous image is broadcast by NBC for our viewing pleasure.
Well done, guys. We're part of TV Podcast Industries, and you can find us and listen to us at www.tvpodcastindustries.com/iTunes or any other good podcast catcher, such as Stitcher, Player FM. Just search TV Podcast Industries. You can also listen to us on our website at www.tvpodcastindustries.com. And of course, you can send us in feedback or comments on each episode at feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com.
You sure can. And of course, in each of our episodes of the podcast, we take a look at this week's episode of Hannibal, and we look at it from the murder tableau through to the table, and of course, everything in between, which includes an entree, a main course, and a dessert. Although it was a bit of a challenge this week, in fairness, there was nothing being eaten particularly, and there was not really a tableau. So we've been very creative with what the tableau and what the table is.
We've had to be.
Yeah, exactly. We have so had to be. We hope you agree with what we've finally come out with.
Yeah, apart from the flashback, they didn't really have anything in the food department. They must be all starving. Hopefully that means next week there's going to be more than one.
That's true. Hannibal must be absolutely starved. Starving Marvin. He will have to be called rather than Hannibal the cannibal.
Sounds much cuter.
Yeah. And then he bites your head off. It's like it.
Because he's cranky, because he's hungry.
It's like Chucky. Cute, and then it kills you. Starving Marvin. The sequel to Hannibal the Cannibal. I think with that, we should probably get on to our review of Starving Marvin, Season 3, okay. Episode 4.
John, do you want to give us your synopsis?
Yeah, I sure will. So this week's episode, Episode 4 of Hannibal, was written by Nick Antosca. Brian Fuller and Steve Lightfoot, again, were involved in the writing. And we have a new director at this time. It was directed by Mark Jobst. So, Episode 4, entitled Aperitivo. Dr. Frederick Chilton is alive, well, and very much reconstructed, as he meets with those attacked, traumatized, and disfigured by Hannibal: Will Graham, Jack Crawford, Alanna Bloom, and the wheelchair-bound Mason Verger. He urges them to use their knowledge about Hannibal to track him down. He states specifically to Jack Crawford that Will Graham is the key who will lead them straight to Hannibal. But Jack refuses the offer, as he has resolved himself to let his knowledge about Will's actions on that fateful night go. To forgive Will Graham. And because he touchingly seeks to focus on caring for his wife, Bella, in her final moments alive. Meanwhile, Bloom, now with a walking stick and who has agreed to act as Verger's new therapist, shows a vengeful side as she agrees to help Mason lure Lecter to be eaten alive. All the while, Will prepares for his voyage to discover Hannibal, the person he thought of as his friend. Interesting episode, this one, I thought. Really did.
Full of creepy people, I thought. was like they're unleashing them all on us now.
Yeah, really creepy. I thought overall this episode felt like, a mob that was preparing and being riled up for a witch hunt against Hannibal by Chilton and obviously by Verger, and then Will ultimately trying to get ahead of them to warn Hannibal to follow him for some reason. That's kind of how it felt like to me as a whole.
Absolutely, like they're all recovering, getting their strength back, kind of seeing Jack and Alanna's backstory. To when they're back to health, and then they're all leaving at the end. It was really very much like that's it now. They're off. They're going to get him.
Yeah, and we have that weirdness as well of Will having a boat in his front drive.
Yeah, I was. When did he get the boat? Where did the boat come from?
I immediately thought of John Travolta and his 747 runway out back. I thought, what's going on? But yeah, it's one of those weird things where, and he's working. He's a civil servant. I'm a civil servant. I would not be able to afford a boat. No,
and it was big as well. It wasn't even a little motorboat or something.
I know, or a canoe. You
wouldn't be able to afford a kayak. Never mind.
It was a proper yacht.
He was in the shed working on a motor, and I was like, where has this story come from?
Yeah, public servants are obviously paid a lot better in the US.
Well, maybe his consultancy rates for the criminal profiling was massive.
But and that says a lot, actually, because in Ireland, they're pretty expensive.
Yes. Although your healthcare in Ireland for the encephalitis would probably cost you a lot more too. I mean, he probably had it all paid for by the Bureau.
Do you wonder whether Hannibal would eat someone who had got encephalitis? Or is it a bit like BSE? He would probably not eat it and just burn it.
Well, maybe he just would be happy enough to cut him up.
Yeah, maybe.
Does
more of a kind of health check.
Yeah, scientific kind of more analysis. He'd be like, oh, see that bit? See, that would have been nice before now, but look at it, it's spoiled.
Yeah. I wonder.
He's been in the heat.
A full health check before he starts having a little nibble.
I was thinking that, actually, when I was watching the episode, because I was thinking, he wouldn't eat Bella, obviously. Would he? Because she's sick. Or maybe he would. Maybe he could just cut away the affected tissue.
Maybe, yeah.
See, this show is warping my fragile little mind.
It really is.
I think of things I never would have thought of before.
But speaking of death, there was really no kind of tableau. And I think, in terms of our tableau this week, the murder tableau, it's not really a murder tableau. We're kind of saying that it's Mason Verger, that he's a living tableau to torture, disfigurement, and just general trauma, with a real sense of vengeance, hell-bent on revenge, really, given that he's now wheelchair-bound and hugely disfigured facially. And
even when he's having trouble breathing, obviously, sometimes maybe that down to the scar tissue. And, his seems to be his throat is affected as well. When he took off, the part of the mask was on his throat.
Yeah. And of course, it all goes back to last season where he was essentially pepped up on drugs and hallucinogenic compounds by Hannibal and was essentially just told, start eating your own face.
Yeah.
And I mean, a really creepy, crazy episode of last season. And here we see finally the result of that disfigurement at the hands of Hannibal, which is kind of lucky. Yeah, and it's lucky as well because now Mason Verger is played by Joe Anderson and not Michael Pitt, who he replaces. I loved Michael Pitt. I thought he played
brilliant. Yeah,
Mason Verger absolutely to a T. I mean, he was properly just vile. Really. I mean, I felt so sorry for his sister, and that whole thing, even though she was being sort of manipulated and used by Hannibal to get to Verger. But I mean, he played Mason Verger so creepily and so despicably. Like, it was brilliant. Really good bit of acting. But we now have Joe Anderson, who I think he's been in The Grey, the film with Liam Neeson. He's been in a few other things as well.
It's a very big break for him getting Hannibal, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was in Horns. He was in the Twilight Saga. And he's been in The Crazies as well, which was the horror remake. So he comes in now as the disfigured Mason Verger in the wheelchair, and obviously not in the best of health, having his feet massaged by his own physician and so on. But
a lot of scar tissue, yeah.
A lot of scar tissue, and he sounded spot on. Like, I actually really thought he sounded exactly like the guy who played him in the film.
Yeah,
Hannibal.
I presume that's the person he's emulating. But I really did. I was like, oh my god, like the voice is exact same.
Yeah, and it was really good. I mean, I loved the way that, we hear so much from some of the previous episodes, and from the characters, the protagonists, that Hannibal only does stuff that he wants to do. That he's very calculated and everything's done for a specific reason. And here we have then this person who is disfigured beyond belief, traumatized, and who tortured himself, essentially. And you're going, okay, so Hannibal expected him to live, and to live in agony for the rest of his life. And you're there going, he really hated this guy. And in fact, that hatred is reciprocated back from Mason Verger in bucket loads in this episode. He's really calculating his hatred and is hell-bent on that revenge, I reckon.
I would think, especially because Mason is very clever. And listening to him, as creepy as he is, he's often very funny. I think Hannibal, it's like they should have liked each other, but Mason was trying to kill Hannibal when Hannibal got him.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I'm sure that's part of it as well. Like he had wanted to get Hannibal. This isn't supposed to have happened in a million years. The tables have been turned big time.
It's an eye for a face and a face for a leg. I mean, so an eye for an eye. It goes up exponentially. You take my eye, I take your face. I take your face, I take your leg.
God.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Actually, when he took the mask off, at first it looks like it's going to be okay, because when he took the one off his throat, it looked like you couldn't really see too much scarring. But then when he took the one off his face, when he's lifting it off and you can see his cheeks, and you're like, oh, okay, he has a bit of scar tissue. And then you see his mouth, obviously that's the big, he'd obviously eaten all around there. Oh, pretty gruesome.
Yeah, that's pretty gruesome, definitely. But it was really well done, and I mean, it's a great reintroduction to this character, and obviously shows that this season they're not done with him, and will they head off? It looks like there's going to be a group of people. We know Jack's in Italy, we know Will's in Italy, but it does look as though Mason and maybe even Alanna Bloom, who has become his physician,
might head there.
I wonder if they are going to be visiting continental Europe.
I thought so from the end, from when she was there with the dogs, but then she didn't say it though. I'm presuming Mason could travel, maybe. Yeah,
I know. You wonder, will he send someone, or will he want to go and oversee this personally?
Yeah.
Will he send, is it Cordell? His physician. So it'd be really interesting, definitely.
He might just have them brought to him.
I think, that's the tableau, I think, for this episode, definitely. It is a living tableau, and a great one, because it is one that is full of vile, and hatred, really. And looks pretty tortured, actually.
It's probably one of the worst things he's done.
Exactly, but as you say, he does still have a sense of humour. He does have a fairly crude comment to Alanna Bloom, doesn't he? I think, about, well, he was in you, wasn't he?
Deeper than any of us, yeah.
Yeah, it was. He's still got his sense of crude humour, definitely.
And even when he says to Alanna, I can lend you an ear. I mean, they're in a different place, but they still function. Like, you're going, bit close to the bone there.
I know. I think with that, we should move on to our entree. On to our 3 points. Irene, what do you have for your entree?
For my entree, I said I just have something light because my main course is quite large. So I said, mine was that it's Chilton that Will was speaking to when he woke up, when he thought that he was speaking to Abigail. I thought that was I was like, oh, and then maybe it's just maybe I should have not have been as surprised as I was, but I was like, oh, okay, he just thought he was speaking to Abigail, so it wasn't that he was imagining the whole thing. The conversation actually did take place, and he did say those things, but it was actually Chilton he was speaking to, and that whole conversation that I had really loved about the parallel universe and parallel worlds. And how this is only one reality, and Chilton's like, no, this is it. This is all you have now. Wake up and cop on, kind of thing. I thought that was really good. He's just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, Will's obviously kind of been, rambling because he thinks he's speaking to Abigail.
Yeah, it really was interesting because, like, we have the whole thing with Chilton anyway. I mean, first of all, he's alive, which I must say was great to see, because I thought he was a great, cast member, a great character anyway, but great cast member from season 1 and 2, and obviously he got shot through the face, and we didn't see anything else of him from what I can remember now. But,
yeah, I thought he was gone.
Yeah, so it was great to see him back, but then, yeah, he kind of does this round robin of going to all the survivors of Hannibal from that fateful night. Really.
Yeah.
And, he's kind of, he's finding out about their motives, and none more so than Will, who thinks he's actually speaking to someone else. And you go, is that really dangerous? And obviously you see Chilton with Mason Verger as well, and you're going, are they going to work together? Because they have a common aim, which is to find Hannibal, to bring him in. And Chilton then says that to Jack. He's really specific, isn't that what we're supposed to do now, is to find him, capture him, bring him back?
They're definitely out for revenge.
Yeah, so does Chilton want to do that for the FBI, or is he maybe going to contract himself out to Mason Verger and do it for money?
Yeah.
Do it for revenge?
Because when he was speaking to Alanna, I thought maybe it was professional capacity, and it kind of, no, I don't think you're going, is he just doing that for his own personal curiosity, I think. Because then when you saw him talking to Mason as well, you're going, oh, professional capacity? Maybe not. Maybe this is just he's out for revenge and he's looking for backup. He's actually part of the crew that are looking for revenge and looking for payback.
Yeah, it was great. And it leads nicely on to my entree, actually, which is the mine's more grotesque than yours between
Yeah.
between Chilton and Mason Verger. Rather than mine's bigger than yours, mine's more grotesque than yours. The whole the disfigurement competition between the two of them, I just thought that was quite nicely done. I thought it was a real sort of dark humor nod. I mean, because on the face of it, Chilton looks fine. And then he just peels back his contact lens to show this dead eye. He takes out the dental plate, yeah, and the bridge from his mouth, which collapses half of his face. And then he pulls away almost like a prosthetic cover, where it shows the scar, and the wound from where he was shot, through. And you can only imagine, I don't think they said it, but he must have somewhere at the back a little kind of toupee or a bit of wiggage, at the back. And then obviously you're there with Mason Verger, who just takes off that supporting mask from his face to reveal this this skin grafted face. And we do get that kind of flashback back to him being operated on in the table as well, but, which is really creepy because his face just looks like a skeleton's with a bit of flesh still hanging on it around his jaw and his nose. It's really, that was pretty freaky for me, actually.
They even had to put flesh onto, they couldn't just do skin grafts. There was nothing underneath it. It was gone. Like that, it is horrific.
It was really bad. I mean, it was really well done, but it was just so grotesque. It was so, sort of physical and real, that scene on the operating table. And then to have this kind of playoff between Chilton and Verger with regards to their wounds that had been inflicted on them by either themselves in the case of Verger, or obviously by the captured FBI agent who shot Chilton in the interview room.
Yeah. I actually wasn't expecting the plate when, like, the eye, okay, the contact lens, and then, you're thinking you wouldn't be surprised too much if you had some makeup or, like you said, some kind of cover. But the plate, when his whole face fell, I was like, oh wow, like, he must have shattered his cheekbone or something, because it was like there's no support once he took that out. Yeah,
it was really, it was pretty, I thought it was a great scene. I thought it was pretty big. I just thought it just peeled back the Chilton's veneer of normality.
Yeah.
Because he's not really. Even in season 1 and 2, you realize he's not above board.
No.
I mean, he's not evil or hugely evil, but he's dubious in some way. And it kind of reflects that in that on the face of it, he looks upstanding and normal, but actually he does dodgy stuff, in the psychiatric institution. And then here on the face of it, he looks normal physically, but then he starts to peel away, the little bit of the cosmetic surgery that he's had to have done to reveal what he's truly like now. And I thought that was quite good for Chilton.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit too delighted by the evil ways and the way that they think. There's definitely something not completely right. But I suppose when they showed the bullet actually going in through his face and his eye kind of blowing out and then it leaving the back of his head at the start, you're just like, oh wow, okay, that was bad. That's much worse and much more visceral than just seeing somebody getting shot in the head with a bullet and a little bit of blood, a bit of a splash.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I can completely imagine that now, thanks. I could have happily lived without that. It's good. It's very
good. Big time. It really was. Have you got any main course now?
My main course is massive. I'm going to be stuffed. I'll probably be falling asleep after this. Alanna
no room for
Bloom.
Dessert then?
No, well, a little bit, maybe just like a water cracker with some bit of a cheese on it. But my main course has to be Alanna. I just thought she seemed so different. Like she always had a warmth about her before. And even when I was screaming at the television because she's the one who's dating Hannibal, sleeping with Hannibal in his house all the time and had no idea. And I'm going, you're a disgrace of a criminal psychologist. Disgrace. You've absolutely no idea, won't listen to anybody about him, which is obviously the intent. She's completely blind about him. But in this episode then, she's got this real granite about her, like real stoniness about her.
Yeah.
There's nearly something malevolent about her when she's talking to Mason. And when he's choking and she's looking at him like she's totally disinterested. Like she's just kind of looking at him like, yeah. Will I get the nurse? Like, like if he died there and then she'd be like, yeah, okay, where am I going now? No bit of empathy, nothing. She wasn't like that before. She was really worried about, okay, obviously Will's her friend, but she was worried about Will and everything. And I know she does say, like, obviously she's been through, like, it looks pretty horrific. Her recovery looks like it was nearly worse than the fall out of the window. Probably was. But I don't know, she's changed. And she does say like that they told her that quite a lot of marrow got into her blood and that she might find herself thinking differently. And I really liked the way she said that, because it was like, yeah, I'm completely different. I'm thinking completely differently. And then you're like, back to the usual thing that we always end up saying about this series is she really thinking differently, or is this a way to, get back up or to kind of get an inside track into if they find out where Hannibal is first, maybe, or,
And you can, because you can expect someone to be altered by what happened to her.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, we see the physical alteration of her. I mean, just simply that, first of all, when Chilton comes to visit her, she's on a table with essentially something that looks like is keeping her hip in a specific location whilst it mends.
Yeah, she can't move at all.
Yeah, she can't move at all. And then she's seen in a wheelchair. And then ultimately she's recovered enough to be able to walk again, but she needs the aid of a walking stick.
Yeah.
So, and you see that physical change and transformation where obviously she now needs a walking stick, but at the same time, as you say, granite, she becomes pure cold granite. And it's like, again, I think even more so than Verger, you see this woman scorned. It's that kind of revenge. It's that she wants her justice and she's willing to buy into what Mason Verger is going to do, which is not something you would ever have thought Alanna Bloom would do. She was very much, she consulted, worked for the FBI. She was a lecturer. She was an educator, a teacher, a professional, and now she will not necessarily do things by the book. And this transformation, probably, staring up at the ceiling or sat in a room while she recovers, and these
for maybe
thoughts,
months,
the thoughts of bitterness, the revenge, all of that is great to see in her. I mean, I'm actually also amazed she's alive.
Yeah, we were only after saying that we thought that of all of them, it looked pretty bad for Alanna, like internal injuries and everything.
Yeah, she's alive with a dodgy hip now. Yeah. I mean, proper dodge. She will never walk again. That's what I thought. When I saw that kind of sci-fi treatment center where she was lying still, and I just thought she must be looking up at the ceiling thinking, I wish Dr. Chilton would just shut up.
Yeah. She's talking about the transubstantiation. I thought that was really, and then Mason talked about it as well. I was going, she's imagining herself somewhere else. She's wanting to just like, it was like something from The Fifth Element or something with the white bandages around her, and then she's talking about that. So you're going, if she wants to just turn into liquid, run off the table, and be able to leave the building, like, and obviously she can't move at all. So.
Yeah, but it's like she says, I understand Old Testament revenge, doesn't she?
Yeah.
To Mason Verger, really like apt that this is John the Baptist having his head chopped off. This is kind of all these types of real bloody revenge and deaths and murders that, I mean, essentially make the Old Testament such a great murder mystery.
I think that was brilliant. Like the light that came on in his eyes when she said that forgiveness is overrated. The Old Testament revenge. I was going like, chopping off his head is way too good for Hannibal. Like, she's thinking, slow, as painful as possible, as absolutely horrible. Probably only Hannibal could come up with something, so they'll probably have to copy something he did already. But yeah, Mason's eyes just lit up. It's like, haha, I have a friend.
Yeah, and also as well, like that change though, that revengeful side, it suddenly puts her at odds with Will as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
She was one of Will's big sort of supporters, confidants. I mean, they were relatively close, really. And now you can see that definite breakdown between Will and Alanna. I mean, for the audience, Alanna is moving off into Old Testament revenge on Hannibal, whereas Will potentially, okay, we still don't know how genuine it might be, is moving towards almost an empathy with Hannibal, wants to track him down for very different reasons because he feels he can be himself there. But this results in a real breakdown. And it's like, she's really judgmental. And it's kind of like I see Will's use of Abigail as like a crutch, sort of a non-judgmental kind of help or aid for him to kind of get to grips with this, because it's kind of there in his imagination. It's his own creation. So of course it will listen, and it will give feedback that is maybe constructive, even if it is a criticism. But unlike Alanna, where, they actually are at Hannibal's and she really questions him, she kind of says friendship with Hannibal is blackmail elevated to the level of love, unspoken pact to ignore the worst to benefit from the best in each other. She really goes for Will and what he's saying to Alanna there at Hannibal's old sort of home.
Yeah. And she's just, I don't know, she was even a bit, well, she wasn't totally cold when she was talking to Will. Like, she did kind of come looking for him in that scene. And
that's
he
true.
says, well, I wanted to be on my own. And then she goes. And he just turns and smiles at Abigail. I really like that touch. Yeah. It's like, okay. Yeah.
But it's like she does see that Will has some kind of continued gravity or obsession and infatuation with Hannibal.
Oh, and yeah.
I think that makes her sort of balk at it, really, because of what he's put her through, which is understandable. Like, I can totally get that reaction. And
she's like, you're ignoring the worst in them, like, and
yeah, and I love that turn of her on someone who previously, she was like supporting him when other people questioned his actions or motives and so on, and now it's like that isn't.
Yeah, there's been a split.
Yeah, it's like she's not that sympathetic anymore, and
no.
She can't understand it. Yeah, no, I've very much got that for my main course as well. It is, I mean, it's a 38-ounce steak, isn't it, really, this main course? To see Alanna alive, walking around and hell-bent on revenge, and who she is essentially teaming up with in Mason Verger, who's pretty chilling still, and the people who, in a sense, she's beginning to turn her back on, her previous confidants and friends and so on, in the form of Will. It's a huge 180-degree change, really, for her, which is, again, understandable.
And she would have been very much supportive of Jack before as well. And, they're friends as well as colleagues. And then she just says to Merger, oh, Jack's done, like,
Yeah.
Sorry, Mason, not Merger. Mason Verger. Sorry.
Virgie Mason. Mason Merger.
Mason Merger, sorry. She says, yeah, Jack is done. Like, he's just a footnote in his own Evil Minds museum. Like, very dismissive. He's finished. Don't worry about him, kind of thing. Now, that might have been, maybe she's kind of trying to keep Jack safe as well, but,
But you do get that sense. You do get that sense from Jack as well. But she seems to say it with a bit of waspishness. A bit of a sting in the way she's just saying it.
Yeah. No, it's
definitely.
colder, definitely.
Yeah.
Dead on the inside now.
But he's definitely, Jack is very much trying to sort of remove himself from that because of his wife Bella.
Yeah.
Coming back into this season, only obviously briefly because she only has very few final moments between the two of them, and it seems as though that when she passes on, that's obviously must be what sparks Jack to go after Will.
I really thought I wasn't expecting the kind of scenes they did with him and Bella, Because
Yeah.
not that it was a secondary, I suppose it was a secondary story. It was kind of more just, Jack's home life. But because she then met Hannibal and everything, it was brought more to the fore. I didn't think it would be as personal as it was. I thought they might show what had happened. We didn't know if she was still alive or not, so it was nice to see something of what had happened. But it was really touching the way that it was done. And even Jack afterwards, saying that the view shouldn't be the same. This isn't right. The view from the window should be different. I really liked that.
Yeah, no, like, even though I think my main course is Alanna Bloom, I think I'm picking. Even though I'm stuffed, I'm bloated, can't eat anymore, I'm still going to pick here because I think that was one of the things. I'm elevating it from notes to main course because I found those moments between Jack and Bella, obviously played by Gina Torres of Firefly fame. I found them really tender, really touching. I just kind of really liked the scene where Jack is recovering and they're both kind of lying next to one another. And I just thought that was a really kind of nice touch, to some extent. I don't know why. I thought it brought them together because their relationship wasn't smooth at all, but this seemed to kind of bring them together in, I was thinking of a state of recovery, Jack's recovering, unfortunately, though she's not, and there's the contrast, I suppose. I really like Bella's pep talk to Jack. They're both there with one another. She's obviously still has cancer. It is still, in her final moments, really. It's terminal. He is recovering from something that could have been terminal. And I just like the way, in a sense, because she's accepted and she's trying to make sure that he's prepared to live again while she's in her final moments, that you're not going into the ground with me, Jack, so stop trying.
Yeah. It's nice.
I thought that was just really nice. I mean, I was getting quite teary and he kind of asked the question, did I die? And you did many things, Jack. Dying may have been one of them. And I just thought it was a really nice, intimate, touching scene. And it showed a real loving side of Jack and Bella's relationship, which I never thought we were actually going to see again, in fairness. And then it moves to that moment where even Hannibal writes a condolence letter to Jack from Italy in time for her funeral, which kind of gets him riled up. He doesn't like that idea of that happening at all. And Will has come in as well, but I kind of got the impression he was a bit stung by that. But
oh yeah, I thought that was horrible. Did you take that Hannibal was being nice?
I took it that Hannibal had a relationship with Bella as her psychiatrist to deal with her cancer, and that in many cases she was telling him about Jack. And so I thought that in his own weird way, he had some kind of caring bone in his body. I didn't take it as being in your face. I did take it as being hugely insensitive, but I thought he did it because of the previous relationship with Bella.
Okay. Because
you're gonna say something now, and I'm probably going to agree with you. It's just at that moment, I did think that it was genuine, but that it was insensitive to do it, and he probably shouldn't have done, based on the reaction of Jack.
I suppose. Yeah. Wait. Sorry. Now I'm kind of when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's a bit, and I was going, is he taunting him? And then it said, no, he's not taunting him, but wasn't really appropriate. He's kind of reminding him that his wife was alone with Hannibal before they knew what he was. Now, obviously, they are well aware of what he is. He's actually, almost killed Jack, or, one could argue he knew how to cut him and he didn't mean to kill him. Him and the Parma ham in the storage closet, he managed to survive. But,
Yes.
I didn't take it as anyway kind of nice. But now that you say that, I'm going, he does pride himself on his professionalism. So maybe in Hannibal's mind, it's a separate thing.
Yeah.
And he
that's how I
genuinely
took
is.
it.
Yeah, maybe.
But that really he shouldn't have done it from a normal social point of view.
No. And then I'm thinking Jack doesn't know about Bella and Hannibal's euthanasia thing. He doesn't know about that. So also, I had to remind myself of that because I was thinking, is that why he got so angry? Because he did have extra time with her, and then I was like, no, he doesn't actually know about that.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think you're probably more right than I am there.
But he shouldn't have done it, is what we're saying. But it would make sense to Hannibal to do it. I think we can agree on that, definitely. And I think on that bitter note, we should go on to a sweeter note, which is dessert.
Okay.
Or have you got any more, anything else on Alanna Bloom on the main course?
No, I don't know. No. I'm kind of just looking forward to seeing, well, number one, if she actually travels to Italy or to Europe. And if she doesn't, secondly, how much is she going to help Mason? I'm really interested to see how that's going to develop.
Yeah, no, me too. Definitely. That is going to be an interesting partnership. Definitely.
They've a kind of a weird rapport.
Big time.
So, John, are you up for more of a heavy dessert? Lots of cream?
It is quite heavy, actually, even though I'm already stuffed from the Alanna Bloom main course. But that's what Hannibal wants to say as well, actually.
Yeah.
They probably, a bit of salt and pepper, a few herbs on Alanna. A little nibble
on the top.
Yeah. My dessert is ultimately the revelation of Will to Jack in the workshop with the boat outside that he can't obviously afford on his public sector pay package. But that it's the confession that he says that he let Hannibal know that the FBI knew, that Jack knew, because he was my friend. I wanted to run away with him. This personal empathy and affinity that Will seems to increasingly have with Hannibal. I'm still there in my own head going, is this just a blindside by Will for the audience? And is it a blindside to Hannibal? Is he actually trying to, get a one-up over Hannibal and trick him into thinking that this is the whole thing, that he considers Hannibal to be a friend, that he wants to be with him, that he wants to empathize with him? And it's the same with the tableau from last week, the dragonfly, the Mothman, being hung up by Will. Or is it a trick? Is he doing these things to, again, lure Hannibal into capture, into a trap? But again, we have it, and this time it's to Jack. And it was just really interesting. I love Jack's reaction, kind of saying how, we need to keep to the FBI narrative that we were injured in the line of duty. We see that Jack's done with the FBI as well, that he's essentially been given an honourable discharge in that sense, because of what he's gone through. But he's trying to say to Will, look, you betrayed me. That's why he wants to forget everything. He doesn't want to focus, and I think that's why he focuses his life back on his wife, because of the revelation that Jack said, because of the loss of his job and his profession, and he's kind of has a rebalance. But I loved this revelation from Will to Jack. I thought it was really, really good, and I thought it was quite powerful, actually, between these two former colleagues. Yeah, it was really good.
I was kind of shaken by it, actually. I thought that just threw me. But he said to Abigail before, when he may have actually been talking to Chilton, but when he thought he was talking to Abigail, and he said to her, you would go after him after everything, and she's like, yeah, yeah, of course, like, and Will was like, So up until this episode, I did think he was probably just trying to fool Hannibal, or just trying to get there to him. And now, as it goes on, I'm going, no. Now I think he does actually want to, because he said he'd run away with them. I really wasn't expecting that. I did think he only said that to get to his house, to delay Hannibal.
Yeah.
He said he wanted him to go. You were supposed to leave. I don't know. I didn't think that was true, but now I'm thinking it was. And he wanted to leave with them, and he was hoping to get there in time.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, where you've invested in Will as ultimately being this troubled good guy, and now he's empathizing with the cannibal, the person that leaves these lovely, beautiful, seductive tableaus, is a hugely seductive person, and you kind of going, a bit like with Alanna, no, don't get into bed with him, no, don't go after him, just be careful. And when I say don't get into bed with him, I did mean Alanna, but it would be quite cool to see Will and Hannibal do a bromance.
Well, they have a major bromance going on, so it really would be just consummating it.
It would. It really would.
If there ever was a bromance, actually, I'm going to see if I can get cards. Will and Hannibal on them. It's like be cool. The ultimate bromance. I killed for you, man. Yeah.
I killed for you, I lied for you, I betrayed my friends for you.
I made a Mothman for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's really starting to feel like, okay, Will.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I wasn't expecting this.
No.
And I mean, I've said that for the last 3 episodes. I mean, it is like going, okay, this is just getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the mind of Will and his relationship with Hannibal. It is almost like a psychosis of influence from Hannibal. It's a really interesting way for the season to go, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, because it's all leading to that point is when they meet, what will happen?
Yeah. I know. Is it going to be
yeah. Is it going to be a trick? Is it not going to be a trick?
Maybe they will.
They're going to settle down, make happy pizzas together. What are they going to do? Yeah.
You couldn't see it having a happy ending, could you?
No.
No. But at the same time, how that would come about, I couldn't even begin to guess. I don't think Will's going to kill Hannibal.
No.
No. Couldn't see that happening either. Hannibal might kill Will, though. Maybe.
But it's a really interesting direction, which just develops on some of the previous episodes, I think, for this season. And obviously from the other seasons as well, there's always been that connection there between the two of them. But, it's very much gone from being that professional connection to a much more intimate and emotional form of connection now. And that development's, I think, just really good. And you want to see it either get consummated or just break apart in some way. And you feel that that's coming this season when they meet up in Italy.
I think the fact that he's saying it to Jack is like, that was kind of the shocking thing as well. Saying to Inspector Patsy, he doesn't know him, but saying it to Jack, who they worked with and who was there from the start, like with him and Hannibal, that just seems to be making it more concrete.
Definitely. And even just the moments that Will has with Alanna in this episode, again, in a sense, he's hinting to her pretty well that he considers Hannibal his friend.
Yeah.
And that's why she suddenly, starts talking about that friendship with Hannibal is blackmail.
And he's conspiratorially smiling at Abigail, who obviously wants to go to Hannibal and loves Hannibal. So, yeah, the separation has happened. Yeah.
So it's a really good character developments for these two and for the people that he's bringing into this circle of knowledge, whether it's for real in the case of Jack and Alanna or whether it's from his own imagination with Abigail. So it's really good.
Yeah.
Really enjoying that side of this series, actually, of season 3. What about yourself, Irene? What's your pod? Is it...
Oh, I'm not. I couldn't go near. I was going to go sticky toffee. No, I can't. I'm too full. So my car's water cracker and little tiny sliver of brie is that Cordell Domeling that works for Mason Verger as his seems to be like his physiotherapist, kind of, who we do know that he isn't working legally in the medical profession because Mason says that to him. There is a reason, he enjoys it too much when other people are in probably not discomfort, probably actual pain. He seemed to be really enjoying it. Although he's obviously helping Mason with his scar tissue and stuff. But he, I know this isn't strictly to do with Hannibal, but because he was Earl Childress in True Detective, I was just going, oh my God, it's Earl Childress from True Detective, who was just brilliant. Like he was so creepy. He was so, like, you're just looking at him going, okay, that's what insane looks like.
Yeah.
That is what proper insane it looks like. Like
definitely.
So, okay, I have that association that's nothing to do with Hannibal with him, but even in this episode, he's just completely calm, completely level, voice doesn't go up or down. Like, he's just like, what would you like me to do? Would you like me to, and Mason's delighted with himself. Like, he obviously, he knows his audience. In fairness, he wouldn't probably have said to him, what do you think, Cordell? He's definitely got him on his team. He's probably out at the front, like, swinging the blades. He's going to help him get Hannibal. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's just the fact that he's kind of massaging or rubbing stuff into Verger's feet. It's very kind of biblical.
Yeah.
Like,
anointing
he's one of the disciples. He will do anything. And that Mason just simply asks him to prepare for Hannibal to be eaten alive. And I'll do that.
He's like, yeah, okay. Like somebody would say to you, like somebody would say, like, you say, are you having tea? Yeah, okay, I'll make tea. It was really like, this is just nearly every day to me.
And I was wondering, my kind of speculation is, will they follow the Hannibal movie, where Verger essentially is trying to feed Hannibal to pigs or to wild boars? Do you think they'll go down that line, or do you think it will completely change? Because, I mean, they have, changed things. So, where will it go? Will it be in Italy, maybe, if they follow him, or will it be back in the US at some stage, or will it be this season? I mean, let's hope that showdown happens, given what we know. Hashtag save Hannibal.
Save Hannibal.
Save Hannibal.
I really hope so.
So it'd be interesting, because I thought from the Hannibal movie, that was one of the real interesting bits, was the whole wild boar scene with Hannibal and Mason Verger. And in that case, Mason Verger is the one that ends up as a truffle.
Yeah. I'm sure he nearly did already, except for he was his own truffle.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, I thought he was really good attending to Mason Verger, was Cordell. Yeah, no, that was something I really enjoyed in this episode. Again, anything, I think, with Mason Verger is good. And I'm glad that with the change of actor playing him, that he still makes Mason Verger hugely interesting, witty, and just a pleasure to see for this really bad, evil person on the screen. Because Michael Pitt's a tough act to follow, I think, after what he did in season 2. He was
so captivating.
Yeah, so good. And it's good to see that Joe Anderson is up to that task, definitely. And really, I love that. And I love that dynamic between then Mason Verger and Cordell. It was superb. So I presume then that they are definitely going to track Hannibal down.
Oh yeah, I'd say try and stop them.
Definitely.
Verger's not going to let it go anyway.
And I mean, in a sense, that must bring us. We've still got coffee, but I reckon we go to the table first, actually, because it links in with that. And I mean, this is the only bit of table that I could see, really, in terms of food, is that in this episode, you could argue that Hannibal is the one that's being set up as food by Mason Verger in his big revenge, by Verger in cahoots with Alanna Bloom at the hands of Cordell, who's going to arrange it all and prepare for this Christ-like transubstantiation of eating the body of Christ, as they kind of discuss in this whole scene. So it's eating the flesh of Christ, the body of Christ, personified by Hannibal in the minds and in the ramblings and conversation between Verger and Cordell and Alanna Bloom. All these things are leading to Hannibal being the sacrifice and being set up as to be eaten.
I was going to say Hannibal especially because of what you'd said about it's like they're all on a hunt now. So Hannibal will be the prey and maybe be eaten, so that makes sense that he'd be the quote unquote food for this week.
Yummy.
I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen, but
well, I'm sure there's plenty of people who'd like to eat Hannibal out there. Mads Mikkelsen does have a following.
Edible. He's edible, he is.
Nibble on Mads. Yeah, he's got a good following of fans who think he's seductive. And I mean, that's the whole point of Hannibal. He is a seductive personality. It's like the Black Widow. It's like the Venus flytrap.
And you're not totally against him at all. Yeah.
Pulls you in. It woos you. It makes you feel good. And then the next thing you're being eaten.
Nearly look forward to that.
Yeah. But on that note,
do you want a quick coffee? Have a quick coffee, go on.
I think so. Have you got a coffee?
I just have a little bit of a petit four to have with my coffee, which is only going to be an espresso because, again, I'm too stuffed. One of these weeks I will actually keep room for a latte, but no. I was just going to say I mentioned the bullet already when you see the bullet actually entering Chilton's face. Yeah. I really liked that. I thought it was really well done. The operation with Mason's face, I know we've mentioned already as well. And even just the wintry scene when Jack pulls up to Will's house was nice. Because there's a lot of indoors shots and filming in Hannibal. And it's nice when they do something outside and it's in total contrast. And then I was thinking, then it isn't actually like a total contrast because everybody's pretty bleak and like hibernating, recovering. So maybe they were doing, or they weren't, and I'm just talking shite. That it's winter and everything's asleep at the moment, but soon it'll be spring and they'll all go to Europe, get Hannibal, and everything will wake up again. Is that a bit too?
No, I can see that, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to choke on my petit four. I'll go, shut up now.
I think, like, my coffee is basically just a few little espressos, really. I think it's good to see Margot Verger. She was there talking with Alanna. So it was kind of nice to see her come back into it just briefly as well. I kind of like that. It really adds to continuity, I think. And then I did like the conversation between Alanna and Mason, where he's kind of consulting with Alanna to help capture Hannibal. And you can see that Verger's trying to figure out, well, how do you start to go about this? And Alanna, being the psychiatrist, is like, it's his taste is the key. He loves his classical music, his art, his food, and she says Europe. She, in a nutshell, captures the essence of Hannibal, that it's his taste. he is a tasteful person in terms of his aesthetic, in what he likes to eat and who he likes to be with, and how, his sexuality, all that. It's very sensual, seductive. It's this taste element, what do you like? And she says that's his key. And I thought that was a great, little thing. And then to top it all off, you have Mason Verger's great line, from that, where he asks her to tell her more, and he goes, "I'm all ears. They've just been redistributed."
Yeah, that was real dark humour.
Yeah,
but I did laugh.
Again, yeah, really good little bit of humour there. The slyness coming from Mason Verger. I thought that was really, really good. And then finally was just, we see Will on board his boat, sailing to Europe, is it to help Hannibal, to rescue him, to warn him,
to marry him?
to marry him, to capture him? Well, I think he would have to come to Ireland for that. I don't think Italy has legalised it yet.
Okay. Maybe we can meet him over in the UK halfway.
Yeah. we can do it in, do it in Ireland, do it in UK, the US now.
Oh, Sweden.
So, yeah.
Mads would like that.
Sweden, absolutely. Denmark as well. The Netherlands. We could do it all over the shop.
Netherlands would be cheaper. I'll have a word.
But we see him there heading off on a boat to Europe, and all I could think of was, I would probably have got a plane.
And where the hell did you get the boat? That's what
I know.
And who's feeding the dogs? That's what I thought as well. When Alanna opened the door, you could hear them barking. They all ran out. I was like, who's been feeding the dogs?
Yeah. Has he closed up?
Yeah.
Has he left it open?
He obviously didn't. The lights were on and all. I don't know.
So they were my few little bits of notes, really, that helped to finish this off. But I mean, to sum up, would you return to this restaurant? Would you come back for this episode for some more? Would you leave a tip?
I would leave a tip. I would say thanks very much. I enjoyed myself very much. I probably wouldn't go back because I'm hoping that the next episode is going to be, more where you want to be. I thought this was nice and it brought all the bits together and everything, but it really, really just made me want to see the next episode, to move the story on. I was like, great, tidy up, lovely job. Thanks very much. Was wondering about that. Next. Yeah.
I agree. It's like you would take a friend to the restaurant, but probably stick with what you knew and liked about the episode. Definitely. I mean, for me, I think I'd definitely give this 4 creepy Chilton eyes out of 5. I think it was good. I liked how it reconnected everyone. Like Alanna, like Will, like Jack, like Chilton and Verger, all back to this one central person, which was Hannibal. I loved the feeling of it that was both a sense of a hunt beginning and someone in the form of Will trying to maybe go off and warn Hannibal. I thought it was great seeing Jack and Bella, and I liked how we get to see, in a sense, Jack capitulate, give in, kind of decide to let bygones be bygones and to drop everything for the benefit of his wife in her last few moments while she's still alive. I thought that was really, really good. And it was just good to see Alanna alive. It was good to see Abigail back in here as well. And it was really good to see Mason Verger come back in all his glory. But as you say, it's definitely right. Episode 5, need to see how this pans out. Does Will capsize in his boat? Needs to get rescued by a passing container ship?
Yeah, because in fairness, he hasn't had one lesson.
Not that we're aware
He's
of.
never down the
Absolutely.
yacht. Never.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen? So from that point, I really did like this episode. But it's definitely, it felt transitional because I really want to now see episode 5.
Yeah. Bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. But I think with that, I think it's, again, thank you so much for listening. Again, just to let you know that you can find us at www.tvpodcastindustries.com/iTunes or any other good podcast catchers such as Stitcher or Player FM. Just search TV Podcast Industries and the Hannibal podcast should be there. Please send in any feedback or comments so we can have in the psychiatrist's chair and send those to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com. And of course, again, just thank you so much for listening. And we will be back in a week's time for episode 5 of season 3 of Hannibal. So thank you so much and ciao.
Ciao, Bella. Thank you very much for listening.